It is back. Whoa, that's not it. Welcome back to the Scarlet and Great podcast, everyone. Special edition for you. I don't know if you want to call this a COVID cancellation edition or what have you. Big change of plans last minute here. It's probably Wednesday night or Thursday morning as you are listening to this. And the news just broke that the Ohio State versus Maryland game this weekend is canceled. We had special guest Zach Smith back in to discuss what Maryland does well and how they might attack the Buckeyes. And I thought it was going to be a really fun show. And then we get this awful, terrible, disheartening news. I'm dejected. But happy Veterans Day, I guess. No football this weekend. And that's what we're going to have to deal with. So to keep the show goes on, literally and figuratively, we're going to continue to bring you guys content here. So we did go ahead and bring Zach, and we'll hear from him in just a minute. We brought Zach back on to talk about how the Buckeyes may be spending their time and some of the other stuff maybe he's got going on, irons in the fire, if you will. So everybody here, please continue to follow us on our social medias at Scarlet Great JL, at Scarlet Great CT on Twitter. Follow us on Instagram, Scarlet and Great. Also, guys, thank you so much for migrating over from the Unscripted Ohio platform. Please bring a friend next time. There are a lot more of you that haven't migrated over yet. So find us, Scarlet and Great, however you stream, iTunes, SoundCloud, Stitcher, Google, Spotify, whatever you use. Find us over, Scarlet and Great. Also, YouTube guys, you see us now here on video, the YouTube guys, and you're seeing us over on the Menace to Sports channel. Menace to Sports, if you're a Buckeye junkie, please jump over, subscribe, Scarlet and Great Empire on YouTube. Subscribe to us. We got a lot of cool stuff over there. And our guys, if you want to see more in-depth football discussion like you have probably never seen before, jump over and also cross-subscribe to the Menace to Sports page. All right. I hate doing that. I'd rather just get into it. I'm here with Florida Corey Thompson and Zach Smith of the Menace to Sports podcast and Menace to Sports media channel. I don't know if you call it a media channel because I know he hates it. How are you gentlemen doing today?
I'm doing great, man. How are you guys doing?
Go ahead, Johnny.
It's your turn. I just talked. I said, how are you? Corey,
I was just enjoying listening to your soothing voice, so I was just keep going.
The hurricane's clearly affecting Corey. So
I've never been through one before, so
you know what is affecting us is the cancellation of this game. I was just absolutely, like they say, let me be melodramatic here. You think it can never happen to you. You think it can never happen to you. It can't be your team.
Technically didn't happen to us. It happened to Maryland.
It happened to us because our game got canceled, and that is what I'm referencing.
I know.
Our game got canceled.
Maryland's fault. Should be a forfeit. I stand by that.
Okay. So I'm dejected. I hear this news this afternoon, and I'm sure Buckeye fans are dejected. Like, I guess we have to watch top 10 Indiana this weekend. And I guess maybe silver lining, we get to actually see what the Buckeyes are up against. Because that should be, I'm thinking, a top 3 versus number 8 matchup maybe by next week if they handle Sparty the way they should. And maybe the coaching staff gets some uninterrupted time to watch some more of what Indiana's doing, because that's going to be a serious game now, at least ranking-wise. So we brought in the coach, Zach Smith, and Coach, the last time you guys dealt with a pandemic where games were getting shut down when you were on the staff due to a respiratory virus, how did you spend your time when a game got canceled mid-season?
Well, that was I think I've had 4 times that happened in my career, and it's interesting. It's just going to be interesting to see how this year plays out, because you're talking about now with Kevin Warren's lack of leadership and just this, ridiculous plan he put in place. Now we're one cancellation away from technically not being able to make the playoffs, right? And it's that simple. Like we're right now, we were going to have a 9-game season. Now it's down to 8. It goes down to 7. And all of a sudden you're looking at, well, will they still let Ohio State in? They're going to have to change their rules. And it's going to be really crazy to see how basically the national landscape of college football has to bend over backwards because the Big Ten was so awful in how they rolled out this season. And now, as far as what the coaches are going to do, I mean, obviously it's going to be treated like a bye week. I mean, there's nothing else you can do, and bye weeks are great. You get 2 weeks to work on one opponent, and usually, I mean, I don't think we ever lost coming off a bye in my career, and there's no reason why Ohio State shouldn't have that same opportunity. You're going to spend twice as much film time. The players are going to be able to get a little healthy, guys that are dinged up a little through 3 games. And the real thing they're going to be able to do is really sink their teeth into how to run the damn football and how to stop people from moving the ball. I mean, we're looking at a wildly different version of Ohio State from last year, and having 14 days to kind of get it figured out after, realizing after 3 games that maybe the stuff they wanted to do in the run game, it's just not clicking. So they either need to find a different direction, find a different back, or just add a wrinkle here or there, one of the two. So it's good news in Buckeye Nation, as long as we don't lose more games and then get left out of the playoffs because we only play 6 games or something crazy.
No, that makes sense. Corey, when you hear that and when you hear how we might spend our time, what kind of goes through your head? What would you like, now that we have the coach here in the room, what kind of questions pop in your mind when you hear that we have this extra weekend now?
Well, not that Ryan Day and company ever want to lose a game, obviously, but we saw that Maryland has a pretty decent passing attack. Their offense is pretty good. In fact, not just their passing attack, their running back Funk is actually putting up some good numbers.
Danny Wood,
and they
Jr.
They torched Penn State, obviously. I still maintain part of that's Penn State combination of being awful, combination of just being checked out mentally now. But that being said, do you think, Zach, that there's a part of Ryan Day that's kind of like, my defense didn't look great against Rutgers. I'm kind of glad to have the extra time to work on it and look at extra film and maybe find some other things that, with the length and time now.
Yeah, you know what? I don't think that anyone, including Ryan, is thinking this is anything positive, even when looking for silver lining. I think playing Maryland, even with what you just said, the fact that they are throwing the ball really well, they have Tua's younger brother, that they look like they were going to could have been problematic to Ohio State. I think Ryan would still want to go out there and face that challenge and really, work on some of the things that they were working on this week to fix some leaks in the boat. So I don't think anyone's happy about it. I think it's a huge opportunity lost, and Ohio State needed that opportunity to play maybe a little bit better passing offense, a little bit better offense to try to shore up some of the issues they have. And so losing that opportunity is not a good thing. I mean, you can find the silver lining, like we just talked about, in getting rest and maybe having more time to study film and work on and implement new things. But that's really it. Not playing a game is never better than playing a game, ever, especially when you have a team that has already shown that there's some things that they need to get cleaned up if they're going to make a run at this thing in the end.
That's true.
And Corey, what are you hearing as far as, would this be enough time for a Marcus Crowley to maybe be healthy by Indiana?
No, everybody says December for him, which is mind-blowing because his injury was a long time ago. And then I guess he also hurt his shoulder at one point. Are they even – I mean, at this point in the season, Zach would know heck of a lot better than me. Would they even, try that later in the year? I mean, it's like they're pretty set on Teague, I'd imagine, right now, right? And with Sermon complimenting him. Yeah,
I mean, I think if anyone is gonna increase a role, it's going to be either Trey Sermon increasing his already somewhat significant role, or Steele Chambers is a guy that has looked really good in that first game, and they're going to figure something out. And Tony Alford will figure it out, and it's just going to be a matter of what that is. Is it different styles of plays? Is it getting? I still stand by my contention going into the year, and then every game since, that Trey Sermon, I watched his Oklahoma film. I studied him. I mean, he is an explosive, dynamic guy. We haven't seen that in Columbus yet. And I think part of it is the style of plays they're running. There's minimal perimeter runs in this offense right now. And I think that's where this kid can shine, is get him in space. And I think there's a number of reasons for that. One, they run the stretch play quite a bit, which is never an outside run, but it's more of a horizontal run play. That's part of it. And then the other part of it is just realistically, the receivers aren't blocking very well. And so I mean, if you're going to run on the perimeter, that has to be the backbone of that. Is the perimeter blocking has to be excellent. And you saw it with over Urban's tenure and really when I was there, and they're just not blocking as well. And granted, I mean, they had one bad game blocking, but who knows the real reason why they're not doing some of those things on the perimeter. They also do a lot of bubble screens and quick touches, which kind of takes the place of that. So there's a number of things that are going on, but what is going on that needs fixed is just the run game in general, right? The interior 3 offensive linemen have not been playing great in pass or run, and then the running backs have left a lot to be desired.
That's true. That's absolutely true. I mean, it's like I was saying after the first game, it's almost like the chemistry is just not there. Yeah. Whatever it is. I mean, it's just like maybe I'm wrong here, but I was watching Trey Sermon and people are dumping on him hard, and I still maintain it's a talented player there, even though he hasn't quite shown it yet. But it just seems like he's indecisive. Like he doesn't know which hole to go through or which angle to take or whatever. I mean, even on a 3rd and 1, all he has to do is dump forward. He gets the first down, but he's trying to juke a guy, and he almost missed on the first down. Do you think it's possible, since he got here late in June, that he's just not quite figured out the chemistry of the offense yet? It's just all new to him, new playbook, and it's just kind of taking a lot of time to settle in?
Oh, absolutely. That's exactly what it is. I mean, and you're seeing it in Michigan State, Florida State, and places where they didn't have spring ball and they instituted a new offense or new defense or a new program. And that didn't happen in Columbus, but it did for Trey Sermon. He showed up and he was instituted an entirely new offensive scheme, technique, footwork, everything. And then you stole spring ball from him with COVID. So, I mean, he had plenty of fall practices to learn it, but there's a big benefit to being able to go through spring ball, 15 practices, and do all of that, and then have 3 months to review it and work and understand it. He didn't have that. It was just pure chaos and getting ready for a season, then not a season, then a season. And it's just, I think you'll find him about mid-season, he'll get comfortable and you'll get to see how good he is. And I'm not saying he's going to be a great player. Who knows? No one knows. But about mid-season is when I think you'll see him get comfortable, and we'll find out.
He won't do this, but I'd love if he used this year of eligibility and came back next year. Because I understand it. I don't think he'll do it, but it'd be great to see him go through a spring, a normal, like you said, a normal summer, where he can work with coaches, or I know it's limited and whatnot, but review what he did in the spring and finally dig into that offense a little bit more. Because I'm glad you vindicated that, because I thought I'm not a coach obviously, but I thought that's what I was thinking. It's like, gosh, he looks like he's just unsure of what he's doing, and that obviously has to come from this chaotic year. So I appreciate you kind of vindicating that a little bit.
You could place blame wherever you want. The kid should be ready. He should be ready. You got to find a way. I mean, everyone's facing it, but the reality is, I mean, that certainly played a part. I mean, and we can blame his inability to produce on that if we want to, but he still should be talented enough. He's a veteran guy, an older guy. He still should have been able to get ready in 40 practices to make an impact. So either we could blame it on that, or the reality is he just needs to do better.
40 practices, that is, I have this theory. First time he goes, when they're first doing full contact practice, that hand the ball to Trey Sermon, he gets stopped at the line of scrimmage or in the backfield, gets tackled. He goes, "Whoa, are they allowed to do that? We don't do that in my conference. You can't just come up and tackle somebody while he's trying to run." I got to tell you, and I'm getting a little Alex Jonesy here on you, but
I don't retarded.
I got to be honest, I'm a little retarded. I don't think he's used to seeing defenses like this. You mean like Rutgers? Yeah, like Rutgers. No, I mean non-Big 12 defenses. Like again, when he's like, "Hey man, you're just gonna tackle me before I get to the sticks, before I get a first down mark." That's what we do here. That's what we do now. We're just gonna tackle people.
Well, there are some plays where he gets met by 3 guys behind the line of scrimmage, and I'm actually talking to other Buckeye fans like, "Well, what do you want him to do there?" I mean,
well, yeah, obviously that, yeah, but I think he's always been a patient runner, and he's always been a guy with vision. And if you're letting people through the line of scrimmage, I don't know what vision you can have to like get around that. But
Barry Sanders would struggle with it.
He could see it happening. He's got vision on it.
I see that this is going nowhere. Yeah,
going down.
No, he saw it.
Yeah. Now, I do wonder though if it's a little bit of a shock to him. Like, Who was it you said, Zach, that Evan Spencer, great blocker, it's very underrated blocker, that he cracked, and was it Jamie Collins? And you said Collins, he was like, chill, bro.
Landon Collins. Yeah. Landon Collins in the Alabama game. Evan cracked him on the second time, and he hit him hard. And he was like, bro, chill out. And Evan was like, chill out.
Chill out, bro.
It's a Sugar Bowl, man. What the
football? We're trying to win a national championship. You chill out. And he did. He chilled out the rest of the game.
Yeah.
He especially chilled out when Cardale trucked him. But
yeah, he tapped out of that game.
Just like who was it? Reggie Ragland that Evan told to chill out too. Right.
I remember going into 15. I was like, people are going to miss Evan Spencer more than we think.
Oh, that's a fact.
Oh, absolutely. It's his blocking, like I said, something special. I wonder. I just hope Evan looked at him.
He could pass the ball well too.
I hope Evan looked at him and said, "Bro, it just means more." That's why we block so hard.
Right.
All right. So I have a question now that we're on the run game. Buckeye fans, I see this happening, right? And maybe I tweet some stuff just to be stupid, just to stir the pot a little bit. But people are starting to wonder. Everybody's probably asked this question for a couple years. Zach, I know you keep it real, but I also know I can ask you this on the spot. Because I know you're sensitive to the athletes, and you're not just going to, lambast an athlete.
No.
But to keep it real, Demario McCall can't play more or doesn't get to play more in this style of offense because.
Well, I mean, Demario's issues has always been kind of cutting it loose, just taking a regulator off and being able to just go. And he always seems to flash against far inferior opponents, and it really makes people question, like, why is he not playing more? And the reality has always been that just he just hadn't figured it out yet how to really cut it loose, because he's as talented as anybody. And so that's a guy that's kind of a wild card. You look at that, could he kind of figure it all out, put it all together? And sometimes I look at careers and it's like, it's never too late to figure it out. We had a guy at Florida named David Nelson who didn't play for 4.5 years. He was a fifth-year senior. Halfway through the season, he scored a touchdown, and it all clicked. And he ended up scoring a touchdown against Alabama, a touchdown against Oklahoma in the national championship game, became one of the key components to the team. And it took him 4.5 years to figure it out. But once he did, he kind of realized his ability. And that's what I'm looking for Demario to do. It's like, all right, bro, it doesn't matter how long it takes you as long as you get there eventually. And so for him to figure it out in the next couple weeks would really be beneficial for him and the Buckeyes, considering the state of the running back position right now.
Especially considering, like you said, a perimeter run game. Like, that would be his thing, right? If you could quick pitch it to him, or even line him up in the slot and run a sweep, something like that, a wheel route. Like obviously we've seen he can do before. I would be very interested in seeing that, especially
in the screen game. Actually, it'd be nice.
Yeah, that could be, especially to counteract, people coming downhill so hard at this run game, that they seem to be kind of doing because they're having success. So
get the ball out quick. Don't give Harry a chance to hold somebody.
That's another thing. We haven't seen a lot of screens. I wonder, is Zach, with if linemen are struggling on the interior, you probably don't throw hey guys, I need you to slip block and get out and run a screen. Like, if you're struggling with the basics, you probably don't throw that on them, right?
Yeah, screen game is really hard to get good at. It's really hard. You gotta really practice it every day. I mean, for 5-10 minutes, those linemen have to practice how to get out and at proper angles, because they're not used to being that wide open in space. And especially with kind of what we're seeing go on within the interior three, I can't imagine that they would be excellent screen blockers with that much space right now. So, and it takes a ton of time. You really do have to invest in it. But it's just, there's things that Travis Etienne and Clemson are doing that I think fit what Ohio State's doing, just how to get him involved, how to get him the ball. And a lot like Alvin Kamara with the Saints, there's things that they could do with a Trey Sermon or a Demario McCall that I think they could do that could enhance the offense and enhance Justin Fields, right? You look at Trevor Lawrence's stats sometimes, you're like, yeah, he had a 73-yard completion to Travis Etienne on a little flat route or a wheel route. It's like, that's awesome. Like, you talk about padding stats, it's dynamic, and I haven't seen much of it.
JT knows something about that.
JT knows all about it. Yeah, you guys.
Well, I mean, Buckeye fans know all too well. You take away the short throws to ATN against Ohio State, Lawrence's stat line is You know, it really starts.
Yeah, he didn't have a downfield game that game. It was all at the end behind the line of scrimmage. It was ridiculous. But that was let's all start, seizing because of our post-traumatic stress syndrome on that one.
Yeah, that's what we needed, more recounting of bad news.
Exactly.
So, Zach, it does look like going ahead into the Indiana game. Now, I think this is actually awesome for the conference that Indiana is. I don't think they're a fraudulent top 10. Now, I don't think they're every year top 10. This is just a year where it's really hard to find like a bunch of quality teams. Like people, I remember somebody told Corey, like, we don't look like a top 4 team. And he's like, compared to who? No one's looking invincible this year. No one's looking that great. Georgia beat Kentucky 14-3, was in the top 10, and then they go to lose to your Gators. So, I mean, I think Indiana is deserving of their ranking. They're handling the people they are playing, right? Besides, the squeak out with Penn State, they handled Michigan. So I just want to say, Zach, you had the Buckeyes, I think, have a bright spot here, is because we all looked at the middle of that schedule, right, and said, well, wake me up when November ends, right? Like, it was just a boring middle of the schedule. But, Zach, you had the foresight to say, no, I'm going to plan a game watch event for the Indiana game, because I have a feeling this will be a top 10 game day worthy matchup. And I have an event, and I will bring in former Buckeye Braxton Miller, and I will. How did you have such foresight into that? And then talk a little bit about the event.
Well, it was pure dumb luck on the foresight, but I mean, Nebraska and Michigan were easy choices, right? And then it was down to Rutgers or Indiana. That's a pretty simple choice, no matter how good Indiana is this year. So, we're excited about it. I mean, the first one was great. Johnny, obviously you were there, and it's going to be fun. Braxton and I have really planned on how to even improve it even more, but we have great food, all you can drink, which can get dangerous. And then we have a VIP area. Johnny saw there was some like, whoa, man, cut her off.
Johnny saw.
All right, well, I gotta go.
Awesome time. Braxton and I just hang out, watch the Buckeye game with fans, with Buckeyes, just to give people an opportunity to go somewhere, not a bar, not somewhere with this crazy rules. Like, it's a private party, and we're going to watch the Buckeyes. We had a VIP lounge upstairs with a cigar bar, a bourbon bar, you name it. It's pretty high class for a simpleton like myself.
It was. That's because I was there.
Were you all social distancing though?
Very socially distanced.
There's no big COVID outbreak on the Minnesota Scarlet and Great team, so I guess we were. I guess we followed the rule. The proof is in the pudding. No,
I mean, zero people got COVID from our event, so we did something right.
You didn't have any contract tracers knocking down the door, so
no,
you're covered there.
Was DeWine there?
I wish.
If we get him, Zach, if we get him there for the Michigan game, so. Spoiler, I plan to be there in the Michigan game to do a little, hopefully we can do some broadcasting again like we did pre and maybe even, post halftime, whatever. That was really fun. It was like our own college game day, Right. I thought it was really cool, all about the Buckeyes. And we actually had somebody who knew something about football up there. It didn't just, skim a little bit. But no, I think what was really cool, a fun moment, if you guys are thinking about going to the event, I really recommend it again. When Justin Fields hits his spin move and gets a touchdown about it. Braxton Miller standing there. And I forget exactly what the fan said, but he's sitting right behind Braxton. He's like, yeah, like him. Like, he's got a
right.
Braxton. It's just one of those pretty cool how many people can say they watched a quarterback spin into the end zone with Braxton Miller?
Right. Yeah, it was really cool. Braxton had a blast too. He's for Buckeye fans that haven't met him, he embraced it. I mean, he loved it. He loved being around, hanging out, signing autographs, talking. I mean, he really embraced it and enjoyed it. So we're excited about the future of it and these two we have left this year.
Yeah, he's super humble dude. Really, he really was. Very, very cool. I got to tell it. You know what? I'm going to tell the story. The story.
Poor Bill.
Yeah, he said I could. So,
it's his fault then.
You met my friend Bill. Went to the same high school as Braxton, but Bill told obviously big school. They weren't friends or anything. And I told, and Bill, came with me and said, I just want to get a selfie with Braxton. I'm like, I'm sure that's doable. And of course, he took a picture with him and stuff. And so we leave. I was expecting a text message from you, Zach, saying, "Hey, don't bring that dude anymore. Braxton, don't bring that dude anymore." I was a little worried. So I leave, and Bill just like runs up behind me like, "Oh, he's like, and I'm like, what happened, man?" He said, "So I made a joke to Braxton, and it bombed." And he's like, he just didn't even chuckle or smile or anything. And he said, "So later I was around him and I made another joke and it bombed too." And he didn't react to it at all. So when we said goodbye for the last time, and I, told Braxton, "Hey, it's cool to meet you," and everything, said bye to you, Zach, and I took off. I guess Bill went up and Bill was like, "Whatever. I got nothing to lose now. I'm just taking a swing here." And he was like, "Hey, Braxton, very cool to meet you." And he stuck his hand out and he said, "I might love you." And I was like, "You said what?" And he's like, "Yeah, I just told him I might love you." And he said that time it actually got him to go like, and so he's like, "You know what? Tell the story. I don't care because I got Braxton Miller to laugh. I'm 1 for 3. Who could say that?" And I was just like, "Yeah." I was like, "Did you really say that, man?" I expected him to be like, "Zach, don't bring that dude no more. I'm afraid he's gonna wear my skin one day or something." But
you never know with those Navy boys.
Yeah, Bill's an awesome dude. But he's awesome enough and funny enough to where he can say, "I'm gonna go for broke." So maybe if you guys go to the event, moral of the story, don't do that.
Yeah, don't do that. Just, hey, you know what? The number one rule in life, a wise man once told me, well, I can't tell you the number one rule in life because it's vulgar, but the number 2 rule in life is don't be weird. That's just in all walks of life. Just whatever you're doing, just don't be weird.
Like breaking all kinds of rules here at Scarlet and Great.
Yeah. I feel like I should bring it up because Johnny really needs to learn that rule, that life rule.
You see who I'm hanging out with. That's not my buddy over there, And to his credit, he's usually not. And he smartly say, "You know what? I'm going to go for broke. I'm going to throw a Hail Mary up here and we'll see what happens." And he got him to laugh. So I
it was one of those nervous laughs, like,
hope everyone knows I'm in the elevator with this guy.
Yeah. Oh man. Well,
get on his phone right away.
Yeah. Well, I think this is fun to know how the Buckeyes might be spending their time. How we do have essentially a bye week for Indiana is well timed. Zach, before we go, quick thoughts on. I know you haven't got to watch them intensively, but you did get to watch them against Michigan. You did a nice breakdown. How good do you think the Hoosiers are, and what kind of challenges do they present?
They're really good. They are. I mean, they're the best version of Indiana I've seen. I think Kevin Wilson had one year that I thought they were really tough, and those would be the 2 years I compare it to. And we had some dog fights with Indiana, but I mean, they're really well coached. Their defense, I mean, it's fundamentally sound, tackles extremely well. That Michael Penix Jr. is just all over the field, and just I love what they're doing on offense. I love how he's commanding the offense. I mean, this is by far the best team Ohio State's going to play before the playoffs, assuming they make it there. Outside of maybe, and I'm saying maybe, probably not, but maybe the Big Ten championship game. If they go play Northwestern or Purdue, I still think Indiana's a better team. So this is going to be the true test for the Buckeyes leading up to a hopeful playoff berth, because Michigan is just awful. And
how are they awful with Cam Newton and Tyreek Hill?
Here you go.
Oh no, no. I gotta say this while we're here.
Oh boy.
I have to say this because I happen to have the man that coached a lot of these guys in front of us. You got to hear this now. This can't make.
Oh yeah, I know what you're talking about.
Yeah. Going to make delusional fan of the week because the guy makes some qualifying statements. But here we go. This is from a Michigan message board, Zach. If Michigan wasn't Michigan. This offensive roster is perfect to attract Urban out of retirement. It's literally got everything he wants. Just not sure he'd want to lose to the OSU machine he left behind. Here we go. Roman Wilson equals Devin Smith. Giles Jackson equals Dontre Wilson. AJ Henning equals Curtis Samuel. Mike Senristil, butchered that, equals KJ Hill. And Blake Corum equals J.K. Dobbins. What are they peddling up there?
No, I don't know. Well, I'm going to tell you this. AJ Henning is not a maximized version of himself. And who knows? Michigan has a track record of not doing that. But I loved him in high school. I recruited him. He was one of my top receivers. I love the kid. So I'll give him credit. I'm not going to sit here and say, who do you say he was like Curtis Samuel? I mean, come on. That's a little bit of a stretch. But yeah,
he's not super far off on some of them. That's why he can't be doing.
I actually agree. I think Henning does look good, though. I mean,
yeah, Henning's going to be a good player.
Unless Michigan ruins them. So.
And Roman Wilson is Devin Smith averaging 30 yards a catch, I guess.
Apparently.
I gotta laugh. Such a deep ball.
Gotta laugh sometimes.
I mean, it's like if you have to at least one deep ball a game for to beat Devin Smith. I mean.
Like at least do it once.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, with like you said, Cam Newton's throwing you the ball too, and you got all kinds of who knows what's going on up there. But we have to go ahead and probably bow out of this one, guys. It's been great. It's been great having Zach on again. Thank you so much for joining us. I always appreciate you coming on. Again, check us out. If you are watching on either YouTube channel, cross subscribe, right? If you're a Scarlet and Great Empire subscriber, jump over to Menace to Sports. Menace guys, please jump over and check us out. Hopefully we get to do some cross-promotional stuff in the future. Thank you guys, as always, for coming on. Nice quick show to get out of here a little bit earlier this time. And, hey, I hope you guys have fun watching the Hoosiers this weekend. Things you thought you'd never hear me say, but you know what? It's 2020. As always, goodbye. God bless. And go Bucks.